Alright, today, what we're going to go through today, we're going to finish up on chapter 19, and today we're going to do a lab on the phases of the moon. Our objective today, what we're going to cover, is right here. We want to be able to explain the causes of the phases of the moon. After that, we want to be able to describe the solar and lunar eclipses. Who can tell me, first of all, since we've already gone over a solar and lunar eclipse, who can tell me what the difference is between a solar and a lunar eclipse? Nicole.
The difference is during a solar eclipse, the moon is between the sun and the earth, and during a lunar eclipse, the earth is between the sun and the earth.
Excellent. So during a solar eclipse, the moon is in between the sun and the earth. And then during a lunar eclipse, the earth is going to be in between the moon and the sun. Now I have a few diagrams up here, and this is going to refer to the lab that you have. So everyone has the lab paper there on your desk right now. So everyone take a look at the lab that says solar and lunar eclipse on their paper. I want to discuss this lab quickly, and then we're going to go over it, and then I'm going to discuss the stages of the phases of the moon lab, and we are going to be working over here in these stations over here. So right now on the solar and lunar eclipse, what you have on the back side is you have a figure that looks like these pictures that I have up here. What you're going to do is you're going to draw lines across the sun, the earth, and the moon, which is going to show you the different eclipses that the moon goes through. So the first thing that it tells you to do on the procedure, you're going to go through it step by step. And on the procedure, it tells you to draw a line. You're going to be able to draw a line from the top of the sun to the top of the earth. So right here. And we have rulers that you guys can use as well to make the lines a little bit more accurate. Johnny, up here please. We have rulers to make these lines a little bit more accurate. But what you're going to do is I'm only going to do this on one of them. For the top two, there's two sections right here where we're going to have lunar eclipses and we have solar eclipses. For the lunar eclipse up here, what you're going to do is you're going to draw a line from the top of the sun, right here, top of the sun, to the top of the earth, and it's going to go all the way through. And you can extend this line all the way through as well. Afterwards, you don't need to start yet because you're going to be doing this once we get moving, once we start the phases of the moon line. Afterwards, you're going to draw a line from the bottom of the sun to the bottom of the earth. As close as you can. You guys can use a ruler to make it a little bit more accurate. So right here, as you can see, I have the sun, the earth, and the moon. I've drawn a line from the top of the sun across the top of the earth. Same thing, the bottom of the sun, I've drawn a line to the bottom of the earth and crossed it, a straight line all the way through. The next step that you're going to do on the same picture, you're going to draw a line from the top of the sun to the bottom of the earth this time, and from the bottom of the sun to the top of the earth.
Is this 6 years?
Yeah. So you're going to draw one from each. So now, each picture, listen guys, it looks a little confusing right here. Each picture will have 4 lines running through. Now when you have 4 lines running through, it's going to give you the eclipse that is happening for that phase. So it's going to show you the eclipse that is taking place. Also, what is the area? Who remembers the name of the area that is right behind the earth? So it would be this shaded area that is completely covered by earth and doesn't produce any of its sunlight. What is that area? And you're going to be labeling this on this. You're going to do this for each phase here. They're all a little bit different. Good. It is the umbra. So right here, we have the umbra. Now, next to the umbra, we have these two areas that are partially shaded by the earth. What are those two areas that are partially shaded by the earth? Remember we covered this in section, I think it was section 3. Go ahead, Nicole. It starts with a P. Good, the penumbra. So right here, these sections that are partially shaded are the penumbra, right here. Now, what you guys are going to do, what it asks you to do, it's asking you to do this for each stage here. Now, on your diagram that you have in front of you, not the position of the moon and the earth and the sun are all in the same place. The diagram that I drew up here, they're in a similar place. But you need to do it, it's going to be a little bit different each time that you cover, or you draw your lines across from the moon to the earth, from the sun, to the earth to the moon. So you're going to draw your lines, and it's going to show you. And then on the front side, it asks you a few questions. It's going to ask you a few questions that you're going to be doing, that you're going to be answering, and you're going to be able to find out where the shadow from the earth is on the moon, or where the shadow of the moon is that's not getting any sunlight. Through this, you'll be able to examine and see the different eclipses that the moon goes through and that the earth puts us through as well. So I want you to actually draw. You're actually going to, it tells you you're going to use a, what color is it? A blue colored pencil, a orange colored pencil, a green and a yellow. And it tells you for each section what it wants you to color. It goes through this right here on the procedure as it walks through. Now I know we've already gone over solar and lunar eclipses, so this shouldn't be too difficult of a worksheet that you will be working on. Now, while you are working on the worksheet, what we're going to do over here, this will be the second phase of our lab. You're going to actually see the different phases of the moon. Now remember we mentioned yesterday that we're going to do a lab. We have the light bulb over here. The lights are going to be off, and the light bulb is actually going to simulate our sun. When it simulates the sun, the styrofoam ball that we have at the end of the stick, we have two because we're going to have two different stations going at a time. This is going to simulate the moon. And remember we mentioned your head, as we were doing that the other day with our fists and using your head as Earth. Our head is going to simulate Earth. So you have the moon in front of you. Your head is us simulating where we are on Earth, because our head is Earth. We have the moon, and the light bulb will be the sun. Adam, come over here real quick. So over here, what we're going to have, as you saw when you entered the classroom, we have the 8 different phases that the moon is going to go through. We have the 8 different phases. So once we turn off the light, you're going to stand in the center of the 8 phases over here. You're going to stand in the center of the 8 phases, and it's the same thing that we mentioned yesterday. When you're standing in the center of the 8 phases, you're going to hold the moon in front of your face. Now, as the moon is in front of your face, the light bulb is simulating the sun. The light is going to shine on the moon, and what you and your partner are going to do, you're going to draw what the moon looks like, and that's your second worksheet, as it has the 8 different phases. You're going to draw what the moon looks like from the different amount of sunlight that is hitting the moon. So right here, you have phase 1, and it's Victoria. If I could use you for a second. Victoria, if she was my partner, she would stand right behind me, and she would look at, and we would describe how much light is on the moon from what we see. Right here, Victoria, how much of the moon is lit up from what we can see?
None of that.
None of it at all, right? The moon is completely shaded from the side that we see, because we are seeing the back side of the moon from what is getting the light from the sun. So that's phase 1. Next, if you go right here, you look at the ground, you'll see the 8 different phases. You're going to stand in the middle, and you're going to face it right here at phase 2. So right now, if Victoria is right behind me, I know it's a little bit hard, I'll try to make this as dark as we can. But how much of the sunlit side of the moon can you see now?
Just a small crescent.
So now right here, as she mentioned, you can see a small crescent on the right side of the moon. Same thing, we're going to move to phase 3. And I'll make sure this is darkened a little bit. On phase 3, how much of the sunlit side can you see on the moon?
Almost half.
Almost half. So now right here you can see almost half of it. So you're going to do this, thank you, Victoria. You're going to do this for each phase of the moon. You're going to go through all 8 phases. Now you and your partner or partners will be over here, and you're going to be with your second worksheet. And you're going to be able to actually draw, Aiden. All you need for this part is perhaps a yellow colored pencil and your pencil. You're going to shade the part of the moon that is shadowed, and you will lighten the part of the moon that is actually getting sunlight from the sun. Now does that make sense as you're going to go around each phase and you're going to color it around each phase? What the moon is looking like, how much sun is there on the moon. After you've done that, this second part of the lab is very, very easy. There are 8 different phases here on your worksheet, and you need to be able to list which phase is hitting each point. For example, we talked about the first quarter, the full moon, the last quarter, and the new moon. You should be able to actually see this in action now. I know we read it through the book, but now you're actually going to be able to see it each time as you move the moon around. Alright, so what I want us to do right now, what I'm going to have us do, is I want you to get in groups of either 2 or 3. And when you, hold on, gentlemen, don't start moving yet. Ladies, not yet. Johnny, I'm going to wait. There's a few of us that are still moving around. I'm going to hold on until we're listening. Sarah, hold your place, please. When you get in your group, obviously you need your worksheets. You are going to be working on the solar and lunar eclipses page. And this is something that we all can be working on our own, but you're still doing it as a group. And then once I call group by group, each group, there's 2 stages over here that you can be working on the different phases of the moon. Now, are there any questions as we go on with these 2 labs that are kind of, that go along with each other? Are there any questions that we have? Go ahead quietly, please. You can move around the classroom, and you can get amongst your group
for the whole time
and begin.
Wait, can Adam be my partner or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Boys, can you take a seat at maybe one of the other tables, because I want some of the room right here, that way we can get the phases.